Oh man, it's been a while since I've been able to sit down and make a video and record some stuff, but been busy last few weeks. But today I wanted to talk a bit about different ways to do progressive overload instead of just putting more weight on the bar. I'm going to go over 10 different ideas that I've used in the past that I think will be helpful for you as well. Now, with these concepts, you're going to have to keep a logbook of your previous weights, so that way we know what to aim for the next session. If you don't track your weights, you'll never know where you started. So the first one is going to just be adding reps. If you are doing, 3 sets of 5, you can come in that next week and do 3 sets of 7 with the same weight, and then progress on to you hit like 3 sets of 12, and then jump up in weight and go back down to 3 sets of 5. And then you can just repeat that process as much as you want or until you burn out or fail. And now the second idea is going to be groundbreaking. You just flip the first idea on its head and add sets every week instead of adding reps every week. It just overall both just increase your volume, so that way you have more stimulus, and more stimulus generally equals more growth, unless you cross the threshold and dip into overtraining, which is a risk factor but isn't as common as everybody thinks. So the third idea is going to be pretty simple. It's just increasing the frequency of your workout. So let's say you do chest on Monday, you'll do it again on Thursday. So you're just hitting the same muscle group twice a week, and it increases the frequency that you train the muscle, and shocker again, increases the volume of the work that you do. So just like increasing the reps or increasing the sets, that's the same idea. But you're just doing it twice a week, so you have some more recovery in between, and you're not, doing like a 10-set session or something like that. This idea works really great with doing whole body workouts, right? Because you do a whole body workout twice a week, you're hitting every muscle group twice a week, or 3 times a week too, right? If you are advanced enough and you don't get super sore from 2 times a week, you can bump it up to 3 times a week if you have the time and the willpower, right? And now we're going to move on to the fourth idea, and this is a really common one. Everyone knows about it. Like I said on this channel, I never really break any new ground here. I'm just giving good info. The fourth one's going to be supersets. Supersets can be done in a few ways, but you can do it where you hit the same muscle group twice and fatigue it really bad, or 2 opposing muscle groups. And what I mean by that is you can do like a flat barbell bench and then hit tricep extensions to just totally fry your triceps really hard. Or you can do opposing, where you do flat barbell bench and then you can do some bent over rows, right? So you're doing a push and then a pull, supersetting the 2 so you can save time. Because once you get up there in training age, it's going to take a lot of volume for you to see some adaptation and some soreness. So doing supersets will really help you save a bunch of time in the gym. So the fifth idea is going to be one that's pretty new to me, and the idea is of workout density. Now, workout density is just taking the same amount of work, but doing it in less time. It works really good for circuit-based types of training, but when I say that, I mean that it works really good for circuit training for specifically the upper body, because trying to train the lower body in a really fast fashion really turns out to be just more of a cardio session than a muscle building or a strength session at all. You're going to be so gassed, sucking for air, trying to keep your legs up to speed that you won't really be able to get in a good workout. You'll be too tired, at least in my experience. Yeah, the idea is really simple. You just have the same workout, run it a couple weeks, and try to do that workout in less time every time until it becomes impossible to progress, right? Then change up the workout and try it again in a different style. Okay, now the sixth idea is akin to workout density, but it's circuit-based training. And I'm not talking CrossFit, don't get me started on that. But circuit training is where you have a set of exercises, like, 3 to 4, and you rotate through them with no rest between exercises, but rest between rounds, right? So you'll do like a push-up, a pull-up, a squat, and a sit-up, and you'll rest 2 to 3 minutes, and you'll do that cycle again until you hit a prescribed amount of rounds or a prescribed amount of reps, or you do it for as many rounds as possible in a certain amount of time. And you track all those numbers, and you try to beat your score or your rep amount the following week. Now, the seventh idea is going to be something I don't think that a lot of people have tried. I know it's really popular in the powerlifting community because we always do it for hitting our sticking points and working through them. But pause reps are a really great way to make yourself feel extremely weak. But what it is that let's say you're just doing a bench, because almost everyone knows how to do the bench. You take the bench off the rack and you bring it down just to your chest or just right above it. You don't let it rest on the chest, and you hold it there for like 1 to 2 second count pause, and then you push it back up. And you do the same thing again for your prescribed amount of reps. Now, pause reps give you a really good idea of what a strong bottom position is for the lifts. and it lets you work through that point. It's really focused on powerlifting, right? Because powerlifting, you have to hold the lifts in a certain position, like especially the bench press. It has to sit on the chest until they tell you to press. The squat's a little different. They just tell you to squat, they tell you to rack. The deadlift, you pull, and then they wave you down. So anyway, the pause reps are really beneficial for powerlifting, but it's also a really good added stress to a lift that you're usually really comfortable with. It adds a whole lot more tension, a lot more time, and a lot more fatigue to like a standard bench press. So maybe give it a shot and see if it changes up your workout. So this next idea number 8, if you're keeping track, is probably something that you've already done without even knowing it, but it's rest pause sets. So instead of like the last idea where you literally stop the movement of the weight right above the stopping point, this one, it'll like take for instance, doing some curls. You're doing curls, you start to get really gassed, but you've only hit 5 out of the 10 reps you need to hit. So what you do is you do your 5, your gas, you rest with the weight in your hands for a few seconds, do a few more, and now you're at 8. And then you rest for a few seconds again, then you hit your last 2, and now you're at 10, right? So you did the whole set, but without knowing it, you just did a rest pause set. So rest pause is just taking your lift to the limit to where it's almost a failure, and then resting a few seconds with the weight still on your back or in your hands, doing a few more reps, and then doing it over and over until you hit your prescribed amount of reps. This is exactly what I did when I was doing the super squats program, where you had to do 20 reps of the squat in one set. It was brutal, but it worked really well, and I had a fun time doing it. So maybe give this a shot if you wanted some added stress, or if you wanted to move more weight than you're actually capable of, I guess you could say. So this next idea is going to be one of my favorites, and it's called myo reps. Now these aren't very common. I don't see many people doing these because it kind of requires some setup, but here's the idea. You take a weight that you can do for 12 to 15 reps, put it on the bar. Now you have a timer with you, either your phone or whatever you got, kitchen timer if you carry those around. And then you do your 12 to 15 reps, and then you rack it. And then on the timer, you have it preset to 20 seconds. Hit the timer, 20 seconds counts down, timer goes off, you do 5 reps. And then you rack it. Press the timer, 20 seconds on the clock, and you can repeat this 20 seconds and 5 reps over and over until form breaks down or you fail. And then that whole thing is considered a myo set. And they are truly, truly exhausting, but they give you a tremendous amount of volume in such a small amount of time, just saving you a lot of time. It's a great finisher for a strength-based workout for sure. Now the final idea, again, not breaking ground, but this one is super popular and I love it and it's so much fun to do, is drop sets. Drop sets is exactly what it sounds like. So let's say you do, let's say you're doing a lat pull down machine and you do 100 pounds and you go till you fail, then you drop it 20 pounds and you go again until you fail. That's a drop set, and it's so much fun. And there's a whole bunch of ways you can apply this, right? If you've never heard of running the rack, so you go to the dumbbell rack, you start at the heaviest weight you can curl, and you curl as many times as you can, then you scoot down 5 pounds. You do that all the way down to like the 10-pound dumbbell. It's a really fun way to train. Is it super effective? I don't know. But is it a blast? Oh yeah, absolutely. So remember that it's about having fun and also training hard. So don't just always be stuck in what's best. Maybe sometimes just have a good time. But if you came by and you watched this and listened to my words, I appreciate you dropping by, and I hope that whatever I give or you pull away from these videos is actually helpful to you out there in the world of misinformation, if you will. But yeah, again, I just want to say thanks, and thanks for sticking around. I'll see you guys in the next one.